Peace, family. What's going on? Welcome to another episode of Family Business. Our health, our wealth, our business. Family business. Yo, I got the great pleasure to introduce y'all and a great brother in the community. Man, we was just talking about all the different things, all the different contributions necessary, and all the things that we do for the community. My man has a GodCast Enterprises.
Yes, sir.
My man Sincere Luv Da God. He also has his series, his children book, correct?
Yes, sir.
And it's that is 7, the Super Haru.
Yep.
I love that. I love the cultural, reference. But a lot of people don't understand the origin of Haru. You know what I'm saying?
They gonna get it.
So we appreciate that. And we also have a podcast yourself, right? You're the host, along with 2 other your partners, or the one partner?
I have a couple of partners, but I have one co-host.
Gotcha.
But we collaborate with other content creators as well. Like we're trying to use the YouTube channel as like a full network, so we have different creators come on and bring their content to the channel, so we have different stuff going on throughout the day, throughout the week.
No
you know what I'm saying?
doubt. Well, we appreciate you for your time. Appreciate you coming through. My man, Sincere Love.
Absolutely. I appreciate you having me, man. It's an honor to be here.
No doubt.
Family business.
Family, and that's what we're here to take care of, family business. And I want to jump right into it too, because we talked about the children book. And we always emphasize our responsibility to the youth and what we got to do to bring up this next generation. That's definitely family business. And you got an interesting title, an interesting book with the cultural reference. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, man. So 7 the Superheroes, children book series. First book, self-published and all of that. And it's going to be a 7-volume series.
Okay.
My son's name is 7. The character in the book is based off of my son. His name is 7. And we just put out volume 1 of the book. And I brought you a copy too, my brother.
Oh,
I got you a nice little gift package right here.
Man, we was not expecting this here.
Oh, this is the book right here. You know what I'm saying? That's volume 1.
I want y'all to get a good look at this as well. You know what I mean?
And so the main thing is, we wanted to counter some of this energy that's out here where they're trying to push a lot of agendas onto our children that are not based around family structure, that are not procreative, that are not what we feel is constructive for black society in general. You know what I'm saying? We got to have strong black families, you know what I'm saying? Man, woman, and child. And so we want to create something, instead of just complaining about all of the stuff that they're pushing on the kids, we want to create something that our kids can have that don't have none of that stuff attached to it. That's just clean, fun, educational as well. And so how it came about, just through us naturally doing the podcast together. I'm sure we'll get into how the podcast came together and all that too. But my son 7, every once in a while he'll jump on screen while we doing the podcast and he just come on. And one of our moderators, who is our business partner, shout out to my sister Kool-Aid, she was inspired by seeing our interaction, me and my son's interaction on camera, and she just started writing. You know what I'm saying? And one of our meetings, she's like, yo, I want to show y'all something that I wrote. And she started reading it to us, and we like, yo, that's a book right there. And so that was really the spark for us to really build GodCast Enterprises. Before that, we were just collaborating on content. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, because I was doing a podcast by myself at first. And I didn't really feel comfortable on camera by myself. I didn't have a bunch of people watching me and nothing. I feel just awkward. And so I went on the hunt looking for a counterpart. And I knew I wanted to have a sister to kind of balance that masculine, feminine energy. You know what I'm saying? And so I came across my sister Nicey, shout out to Nicey girl. And we just started doing our thing, and that's all it was based around in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? But when Kool-Aid came with the idea for the book, that sparked the whole idea of us having a company together, and we formed GodCast Enterprises.
So the book led to the podcast led to the book, and the podcast in the book led to the Enterprise Network.
Right.
That's dope, and that's brick on top of brick, man. We love to see that. Love to see that in the community. One thing that you mentioned, and you touched on it, is being able to do your own thing to counteract what's going on out there. When we look into American culture, there's a lot of things that don't represent who we are.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And so there's, we have to take up that responsibility. So shout out you for taking up that responsibility of creating something for us. And tell them a little bit about, kind of like the plot and theme of Super Haru.
So the first book is called 7's Big Move, and it was based around, because we had recently moved. You know what I'm saying? Around last year, whatever the case may be, we had to move into a new place because they just cut us off in the middle of our lease. It was like, yo, y'all got 60 days to get out of here. We had to move. And so he had that experience. Basically was living in the same place most of his life. You know what I'm saying? So that was his first big move. And so it's based off of that, but it wasn't like, you know, word for word true to how everything went. Because, in real life, he was excited about moving to a new place.
Right.
But in the book, his character is not feeling that. Like, he don't want to leave his friends, the school that he goes to, all of that stuff. And so it's a learning experience for him moving into a new place, new environment. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so we give him some jewels to comfort him. You know what I'm saying? To make him get excited about the move and all of that.
For sure.
And so, yeah, that's volume 1. But the series is going to be different adventures and journeys that he goes on where he learns these different life lessons as he's growing up. Like we already working on volume 2, which is going to be Seven's Big Chop. Because if you notice on the cover, he got locks.
Right.
And so he had locks all the way right before his 7th birthday. We cut his hair. And so the second book is going to be about him getting his first haircut. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a barber by trade, by the way, too. So
that's what I do. Remember that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we talked about the podcast itself also, you know what I mean, as one of the other ways that, you know, you're making a contribution to the community.
Yes, sir.
Tell us a little bit about the podcast. What's your topics? What's the goal with
We're doing a lot, man, now. We're doing so many things. So, like I said, in the beginning, it was just me. Just whatever was on my mind at the time. There was no format to it.
Right, you just got on there and
no
just talking.
To it. Yeah.
I've been there, bro.
Just going live, like something happened, something's trending online or whatever, and I got my 2 cents I want to put in.
Right.
Because I learned how to do a podcast through Brother Ben X's program, Digital Real Estate. You know what I'm saying? I took his program and learned how to create content. Right. Before that, you know, I would just be on the gram or Facebook or whatever, you know, still expressing my thoughts and my ideas, but not knowing how to create the content, you know what I'm saying? To really make it move and get people's attention and reach the people who I'm trying to reach. And so I learned that through his program. And so I just started going live whenever I had something that was on my mind that I wanted to get off. And like I said, it was awkward. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, like 2 people watching me, you know what I'm saying? I'm all here by myself. You know what I mean?
Well, you just talking, it's a small room.
Right.
I got you.
And so I fell back from a while from doing the podcast, and I just went on a hunt looking for my co-host. And like I said, I found Nicety Girl because I just seen a lot of stuff that she posts was in alignment with, you know, my worldview.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I seen that she was on code, she was black first. And so I just slid in the DMs like, yo, I need a co-host, man. You trying to do this with me? What's up? And at first she was like, nah, I don't feel right on camera. I'm shy. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, listen, me too. I don't feel right either. But you know what I'm saying? I like the stuff that you're putting out there. I think we would make a good team. Let's just try it and see if we got chemistry, if we like each other or not. And we started doing it, and it just started taking off. And then the ideas started coming. So on Sundays when we go live, we just cover current events. We talk about stuff that's happening recently that we feel is important to Black society. Right. And then from there, we came up with the idea where at the end of every show, we're going to shout out a Black business. And so from that idea, we was like, why don't we start bringing on business owners and entrepreneurs? And so we have a series called the Black Business Showcase, where we interview business owners and entrepreneurs every Wednesday. And we get all up in their Black business, and also give them the opportunity to present their business to our audience so that people could know who's out there. We want to support one another. A lot of times we don't even know where to go. Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And so,
real quick, where can they find that podcast out? I don't want to know.
So, Sincere Luv Da God Cast. That's the name of the podcast, and I gotta get better with putting it on all of the audio platforms. We do got some episodes up there, but it's not up to date, so I gotta get more on my job with that. But we go live on YouTube.
Okay. You know YouTube live. Okay.
Yeah, we go live on YouTube and we do it virtually. You know what I'm saying? And so, Sincere Luv Da God Cast. If you type in my name on YouTube or any platform, it'll pop up.
And so you said that you wanted to take that and actually create a network out of it, correct? Not just the podcast. So kind of like, tell me how that gonna work out. Right.
Like, so I look at certain people's channels that I was inspired by. Like with Dr. Boyce, he had a channel where he has different people come on and they do their broadcast and they cover different topics. So I'm like, it's not just all about me. And we know and understand that white supremacy is dominated throughout 9 areas of people activity. And so we got more areas of activity to cover and talk about. And every area is not my expertise. So I want people who's good at covering, like let's say right now I have an idea for a sports show.
Right.
Because right now we look at ESPN, you know what I'm saying? We don't really get that black first perspective when they're covering the sports, not just what's going on the field and on the court, but the politics around the game and all of that. You know what I'm saying?
And there's a lot to be said about what goes on in the industry and how we gotta be able to communicate it to our community.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because you start to see how just business works from the capitalistic mindset when you start looking about how people treat the athletes, you know what I mean, and how they manage and negotiate their contracts, and when you see somebody being expendable and you see people cut, like as a fan, especially black people, we consume black NBA, NFL, we looking at it and we're watching the sports, and you know there's some drama that goes on and because of the media, how they present things, and they always give it their spin on it, and they gonna always push this narrative of, oh, you know, we have to business first, do your job. The athlete is, you know what I mean. But you know, this is like people. Like we know the athletes that we see in the gym working out, working hard, and eventually go to like Ja Morant.
Right.
The story and soap opera surrounding Ja Morant, you're gonna get two different like narratives about what's he going on. Now I'm not saying right or wrong, but we know brothers in the community. We know the difference between someone who's holding a gun and about to do something, and someone who's just in a party and might be showing it. Like I said, I'm not,
I understand exactly what you're
condoning
saying.
it. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's right. But the way they're gonna give it to us is gonna be different from their narrative.
Right. Exactly. They always have to try to project their mindset onto us. You know what I'm saying? So we have to be in a position to control the narrative and present these things from a black first perspective. You know what I'm saying? The way we see it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I feel like that's important. And so yeah, it's stuff like that. So I want to bring other people on and give them a platform to be able to, cover their area of expertise.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
What other areas you think we need? Well, I would say all.
Economics.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like mental health is important. Tech.
Yeah, that's a big one. Yeah.
Definitely tech.
That's what
you know what I'm saying?
Right now. Yeah. Excuse me, but you mentioned economics, and I was also a business owner, correct?
Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about the business, how it ties into your art, and how it kind of allows you to contribute and present opportunities for people in the community.
Right. So yeah, like I said, I'm an entrepreneur, and it basically came from, I always had an entrepreneur spirit. Right. You know what I'm saying? As a barber, you know what I'm saying? Be self-employed. You know what I mean? But I started looking at ways, particularly during the pandemic, to try to, like replace that income, so I'm not dependent on being behind the chair.
That's right.
In order to earn a living. You know what I mean? So like I said, I joined Brother Ben X's program, trying to find different ways how to make money online, and it just taught me to be able to just tap into my purpose, my God-given purpose, and going within of just being myself and building a brand around that. You know, my personality, my talents. You know what I'm saying? And so that's how we came with the music. Well, I've always been doing the music, but the music, I don't look at the music like that's my way to make money. The music is really like a magnet. You know what I'm saying?
Really? Yeah.
The music is really like a magnet. Like I'm gonna do that regardless of what. And so a lot of people are attracted to everything else I do from the music. So that's why I say it's like a magnet. People get into the music like, yo, son, dope. And then they'll come check out the podcast.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then
feed them with breadcrumbs and bring it right to the source.
Right. And so now, like I said, we developing our products and services, and the 7 Super Hey Rule series is really our first product that we put out there in the marketplace, and we got merch and stuff around that, and we got plans, man. We got plans.
I just love the mindset, because you said you also got merch off of it, and the merch is going to be another stream of income.
Right.
And then honestly, especially for our community, we got to be able to capitalize off our art. And we had an interview with a couple artists, and we started talking about just the balance between art and business. And so for a lot of us, we got to be able to take, and you see, we're trying to do the same thing here on the Family Business Podcast, but we're taking the art and we're dissecting it down and being able to make the streams of income off of that, because you see a lot of times they exploit us for our art.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? They exploit us in the rap game, and we're gonna get on that in a minute, because you said you also do music.
Absolutely.
And you mentioned to me this is the 50-year anniversary of hip hop.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So before we get into that, but you know, being able to dissect it, take your art, make your art a brand, make your brand a shirt, a book, break it down like that. That's the way that we can kind of interject ourselves into the economy and still control it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because you know, at least I feel as though that there's a lot of gatekeepers and there's a lot of different avenues. Some we're not exposed to. There's a lot of things that we're not exposed to in terms of, you know, how to make money, how business works here. But this is one of the ways where you could show somebody that whatever you got right now, whatever you're holding, you could dissect it up and make bread off of all of it. You know what I mean? So that's definitely dope. But we did touch on the fact that you also do hip hop, correct?
Yes, sir.
You rap?
Yes, sir. Yeah, you got the CD in there too.
I was looking at it earlier.
We got some other stuff in too. I didn't see.
Yeah, we're gonna get through all of that.
It's the Master's Table.
Hey, oh man. Okay.
Master's Table.
Okay. We got Shahrazad Ali.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We got. I'm about to show you. I think it's all like animated. So I'm about to. So we got. That is my man. Who wrote Powernomics? Correct.
Yes, sir. Dr. Claude Anderson.
Claude Anderson. Yep. And we got. Is that what's his name? Dick Gregory.
Yeah.
Dick Gregory.
Baba Dick Gregory.
No doubt. I know the lady's. I know who the lady is, but I forget her name at the time.
The ISIS Papers.
ISIS Papers. Yeah. Francis Welsing. Yep. Francis Welsing. I want to see. I'm gonna show y'all. We're gonna throw the picture up. See if we got people that can name them. These last two, fill me in on them. These two on the
So in the middle we got Dr. Amos Wilson.
Amos Wilson, right? He wrote the Black Economics Head.
We got a few out there, but the main one that people know is the Blueprint for Black Power.
There you go.
Blueprint for Black Power.
Okay.
And this is our sister, Dr. Ava Muhammad, from the Nation of Islam, and that's Brother Neely Fuller.
Neely Fuller. So the last two on the end, I'm not familiar, but I'll definitely check them out. You know what I mean? But no, I think this is definitely dope. The Master Table. So tell us a little about it.
Yeah, man. So yeah, we got 7 of the master teachers on the cover, and we paying homage to them all throughout the album, as well as others too. You know what I'm saying? We couldn't put everybody on the cover. A lot of people like, yo, why you ain't got this one? Why you ain't got that one?
Why you ain't got? Yeah, I know.
You know what I'm saying? But these particular master teachers, their work, you could hear it throughout the lyrics. You know what I'm saying? Like specifically. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we definitely wanted to showcase them and honor them and pay homage to them. But it's me and my brother DJ RP Beats, man. This is our 3rd project. Me and him, we are Master Elements. That's the name of us as a group. He's a DJ, producer. I'm the MC. And like I said, it's the 3rd project. It's the follow-up to The Spear and the Shield. Mm-hmm. And we just showcasing Black excellence, Black empowerment, and hip-hop forms. No doubt. And our thing is, you know what I'm saying, a lot of times when you hear about so-called conscious rap music, conscious hip-hop music, or whatever the case may be, a lot of times it be corny. A lot of times it be some shit niggas really don't want to hear.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so I've been doing music for a long time, you know what I'm saying, before I was at this level of consciousness. You know, I've always been good at rapping, you know what I'm saying? And so I just wanted to use my talent to be able to translate the lessons that I learned from the master teachers in a hip-hop form to make it palatable for people who ain't gonna sit down and read, you know, Dr. Amos Wilson's book. They ain't gonna sit down and read the ISIS Papers, you know what I'm saying? But they still need the information, you know what I mean? They just want to get it in a different way. And so, you know, that's my gift. And so that's how we pay it forward.
You know, honestly, it's wild you say that, and I'm glad you brought that up, because there's a need for knowledge right now. You know what I mean? I was just in a situation not too long ago, and we have a lot of people who speak and talk and put themselves on that platform, but then but they're not the ones who are actually studying. And I'm not opposed to people going through their YouTube university, but a lot of times we gotta go back and look at our scholars. You know what I mean?
That's a fact.
Because we keep on repeating the same ideology that the Europeans been teaching us but we have our scholars who have done the work. You know what I mean? You talk about some of the other ones, the Naeem Akbars, the John Henrik Clark, people who have gone and done the work for us and brought it back. You know what I mean? And it's almost, I consider it disrespectful to disregard their contribution. But the way I like how you do it, where you take it, you put that new flair on it, put it in a medium way that they could digest it, You know what I mean? So kind of telling them about.
And I give them their credit. And what you touching on goes along with the slogan that we have on Sincere Luv Da God cast. I say this every episode. I'm not the master teacher. I am only the master student.
No doubt.
And we are the signal boosters for the voices of the new black media. Meaning, I don't got to reinvent the wheel.
Like that, yeah.
They already gave us the blueprint.
Right.
The information is already there. So I'm just signal boosting it. You know what I mean? I'm not making, this ain't Sincere Luv Da God. You know what I mean? Right. I'm telling you what I learned from reading Powernomics. I'm telling you what I learned from, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, or whoever it is. You know what I'm saying? And so, this ain't me.
We passing it down. It's extension
right.
of it. You know what I mean? And that's dope, too, because there's still got to be people who go back to the elders. We can't keep on taking out information from the things that we see now. With the emergence of social media and things like that, fake news, and I said to someone before, I said, I know everybody wants an opinion, everybody wants to be heard, but sometimes people just need to listen.
For real.
Sometimes if you haven't gone and read the books, if you haven't gone and studied, you know what I mean? My father was a history teacher, you know what I mean? So I grew up with a certain understanding about who I am and where I came from. Also, I was raised Hebrew Israelite. We was raised up in the ministry. So a lot of times when we was raised up, we didn't have to have that conversation about white Jesus. You know what I mean? We didn't have to have the conversations about, what it means to be in America. We knew what our presence here meant. So when I'm trying to go and like say I'm not the master teacher, but let me pass on what was passed on to me. Because when I learned my identity, I thought it was liberating. You know what I mean? To be able to read the books and understand where we came from, it was liberating to me. So I want to be able to pass that on, but we got to be able to listen to each other. You know what I mean? We got to be able to listen to each other and respect where the knowledge came from.
Yeah, I always could tell when I'm listening to somebody that ain't really studied like that. You know what I'm saying? And that's always my question. Like, okay, who's your master teacher? Where you get this from?
Right.
Because I never read that.
No, but the thing is though, this European education, they gonna whitewash history. They gonna whitewash the where the knowledge is and where it came from, to the point where you got people who not even sound educated. And I think I put a post up before. I'm like, yo, y'all went and got degrees, but didn't learn anything. You went and got degrees, and I'm not knocking anybody. Of course, I'm not knocking anybody when you got your college degree, do your thing. But there's only a set of information that they're willing to teach you in their formal education. So you really got to go outside of the formal arena and really go in there and look and do the work. You know what I'm saying? And find the books. That's the one thing. Some of the books be hidden.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, you do got to go read. You know what I'm saying? Powernomics. You do got to go read Yorugu by Marimba Ani. You do got, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with one of our elders here in the community, Baba Baruti, but
Rudy. Yes.
Baba Baruti. He got a book, a Safa, that is about teaching men how to be warriors. You know what I mean? For a lot of our brothers out here, he talks about the responsibility we have as men. And a lot of us got to assume that responsibility. You know what I mean? We have to, but you learning from the European, they not giving you that set of ideas as responsibilities. You know what I mean? I think that's definitely something we gotta, we gotta be that lighthouse. Keep pushing it on our people. So definitely shout out for you, you know what I'm saying, rapping and giving them that medium. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
No doubt. Go ahead.
I was gonna say a lot of what they call education is really indoctrination to a certain degree. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, it's not no knock to education. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, education is important. Like I tell my son, we got to send him behind enemy lines on a weekly basis. You know what I mean? When I send him to school, I tell him, listen, I need you to master the lies that they're telling you. I need you to understand why they're lying to you. You know what I'm saying? That's how you're going to be able to reverse engineer it, because our duty and what we striving to do is dismantle the system and replace it with a system of justice. Right. You know what I'm saying? So you got to reverse engineer it. So I want you to go in there, understand that they're lying to you, master those lies, know what the truth is, and let's begin the process of reverse engineering this.
Definitely. You know what I mean? If you could, I forgot who said, but he said, if you want to know about your people, go and study your enemies.
Absolutely.
Study why did they lie to you about, the presence of black people in Egypt. You know what I mean? When they show the light skin and all that, I'm like, all right, well, show them why that they told you.
Or in America.
Yeah, exactly. Right. They man, we could go for days. To be honest with you, we as black people, we make up the entire world. There's black people everywhere.
Right.
Asiatic black man. There's the Australian black man. There's black, that gene, that folk. We are
the original man.
We are the original man.
Original man. We direct descendants of the Almighty God.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
An extension of that source and that light. Yes, sir.
And so I know there's a lot of conversations about, like a lot of tribalism conversations going on, a lot of diaspora wars and all of that stuff. And my thing is, like you just said, man, we the original people of the planet. We're not just from one continent. Right. We're not just from one country. You know what I'm saying? This is our planet. Mm-hmm. We've been here longer than anybody.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying? This enemy that we're dealing with, those are Johnny-come-latelys. They ain't been here that long.
And then that goes into doing the understanding what that means to be the original man. Right. What that means is, what is the DNA and that thing, blood going through our veins? We are just like the trees. We right. are just like nature. We are that natural element that came out of here. That's why we go into the sun. We get the energy while our European counterparts, right. they're hurt by it. Right. So I'm not, it sounds, sounds elementary, like but definitely. But it sounds real they just get sunburned and you don't really think about it. But think about how you naturally respond to the nature, to the natural element. That's going to tell you about your origins. That's going to tell you about your identity. I don't need a European teacher to teach me about geography and tell me where I came from. When I can look at my body and how I react to the natural surroundings of life, you know what I'm saying? To understand that now I'm of this earth. I'm of this. So when we fight for black people, we're not talking about black people from Africa. I'm talking about the spirit of black people, because the spirit of black people, it's not held down by any artificial boundaries. It's not behind anybody's walls. The spirit of black people is the spirit of nature, the spirit of life. And if you do enough reading, you go back further enough, they'll tell you that. They'll right. tell you exactly where your origin is. And you know what? I'm not going to get into the sciences too much about it, but when they start talking about melanin and they start talking about carbon and the breakdown proton, neutrons, things like that, we are made of the same things that makes up this earth.
The universe.
From the stardust, from all it. You ain't going to get in that, but.
Nah, you're in it. You're already in it. That's real though. And that's when it comes down to really understanding the enemy. Like why is there a need for a system of white supremacy? You know what I'm saying? Why is that necessary? You know what I'm saying? It's essential to their survival because, like you said, they're not a part of their nature. And so it's not that they just don't like you because you black, you got a big nose, you know what I'm saying? That
yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? They at war with nature. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because nature is against them. You know what I'm saying? Everything in nature. Right. You know what I'm saying? They trying to block out the sun. Why? Right. You know what I'm saying? They come from the worst part of the planet Earth.
Right, cold rock.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
Now you said it though, they at war, and this is something that, we haven't really touched on it yet on the podcast, but I do believe that they're trying to replace what we understand as God. That's why we have all of this push towards this AI technology. Mm-hmm. We're moving out the natural. Mm-hmm. We say we love God, but we spend a lot of time destroying the things that represent God. And guess what represents God? Black people, us. So they are at war with us, like you said, not because they hate us, but because they're threatened by us. They're threatened by our existence because we represent something that's so much more natural and authentic on this earth. And like you said, they came from this cold, dark rock. Right. And we talked about before what type of humanity is bred from those harsh conditions. You're not dealing with people that are in tune with the natural forces of the universe. Absolutely. Because how could they be? They spent their life, they spent their origins in a state of survival, in a state of lack. So what they try to do, they try to flip that on us. And now black people here, we're living in a state of survival, in a state of lack. But it's only because they see us as a threat. Right. You know what I mean? They got to do anything in their power to colonize this first, the mind.
It's important to understand it from that perspective because that takes the emotions out of it. You know what I'm saying? It's not about being mad at white people. They doing what they supposed to do. You know what I'm saying?
Now you hit it on the head. You hit it on the head. Take the emotion out of it. Let's just call it what it is. Right.
We the ones that's behaving inappropriately. You know what I'm saying? Because we doing things that are against our survival. Right. They're doing what's necessary for their survival. You know what I'm saying? They can't survive if everything is cool. If we just all get along and everybody is just loving and all that. Like we are a threat. You know what I'm saying? Right. Just our existence.
Listen, you can even go a little bit further. When they have a negative birth rate right now.
Right.
So when you start seeing these stories about trafficking, you start hearing things about, you know, people paying for the organs of black people and stuff like that. It's because they're trying to reverse their own extinction.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they don't want to let us know that. So they have to keep our mindset at a level where we keep on seeing ourselves as inferior. Because they can't reinforce that lie over and over. If you see now, what's going on is they are perpetuating their system, and part of that system is our inferiority. It's part of the system. You know what I mean? It's like how would I want to say this? Like, it's written in the code where they subjugated us to a certain stance, and there's people that don't understand why they did that, and then they start to reinforce it themselves.
Right.
You know what I
mean?
mean?
It's autopilot.
Right. They start to do it themselves. I think one of the scholars was talking like, yo, if you eventually we're gonna start oppressing ourselves. You know what I mean?
Right.
But
you could get rid of the white supremacists today, and we'll still have white supremacy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The system is on autopilot right now.
They colonize the mind. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what their aim was over and over by doing this over and over, perpetual year after year after year with their education. Destroying our organizations. Anybody that was trying to teach them something different. Anybody that was trying to, like, you know, Malcolm X. You know, all of our scholars. You know what I mean? But because we're on that, I kind of want to shift it. Today actually is Juneteenth. You know what I mean? When it's
Freedom Day.
No doubt, Happy Freedom Day. I mean, I want to talk to you about this, right? Because I kind of have mixed feelings about the actual day, Juneteenth. I feel like I liked it. I appreciated it more when it wasn't a federal holiday.
Right.
And now that's a federal holiday. And it's so funny because what's the difference between a national holiday and a federal holiday?
What is the difference?
I don't know. But I was talking to I don't think there is.
I thought about that.
I don't think it is. But when you have something like Memorial Day, it's a national holiday. But when people refer to it, but I had somebody on the phone. I think it was on the phone with, I don't know, it's probably somebody from the bank or something like that. And they said federal holiday, and they said it with an energy behind it. Like, oh yeah, it's just a federal holiday.
Right.
The lack of appreciation. You know what I mean? And the part of it that I'm kind of wary on is I don't want us to keep falling into the trap of Europeans placating us. Oh yeah, here you go.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll give you a federal holiday. You know what I mean? Juneteenth. Hey, you're free now.
Right.
It's like, but we keep on seeing and consuming all of the content that doesn't say freedom. You know what I mean? If you still have 3 million black men in jail and they say, hey, Juneteenth, you're free. Right. We still have discrimination. We still have disparity. I'm gonna come back to that word. But the separation between income, disparaging, that's what it is. Disparaging income. The line between income with our community and other community does not suggest freedom, does not suggest liberation. Our dependence on the system doesn't suggest liberation. So why are we big to have a day and, you know, and say, oh, it's Freedom Day, it's Juneteenth, let's, you know, thanks America. I honestly appreciated it more when it was just our thing. You know what I mean?
I agree with that. And that's really with everything that starts with us. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate it more when it's just our thing. Once it becomes adopted by the dominant society, they always have to attach their agenda to it. They always weaponize everything. Everything becomes a weapon in their hands. You know what I'm saying? And so, like you said, the essence and the origin of the meaning of Juneteenth is important, and it's something that we should salute and celebrate. You know what I'm saying? Particularly for our people down in Texas. You know what I'm saying? Because that's really what it was about. The people in Texas not knowing that legally slavery was over until 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation or something like that. And so, yeah, that is something that we should remember and commemorate. But we shouldn't be dependent on the dominant society to give us permission to celebrate anything. And we didn't. You know what I'm saying? We was already celebrating that for a long time. Many of us, not all of us, but many of us were already celebrating that for a long time. But I think it was John Henry Clark that said it. We gotta take our holidays. We can't wait for them to give us a holiday. We make up our own. We say what our holidays
Malcolm X Day.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Along those lines. Yeah, definitely.
Right. And then when they because they eventually, once we get anything popping, they're gonna try to put their hands on it and try to take control of it. But when they do that, we gotta rise above and not fall into what they're trying to do, because you see what they're doing now. You know what I'm saying? Everything that you see with this Juneteenth stuff, they always attaching some other agenda to it. They're making it an all lives matter, minority coalition type of holiday, and we know that's not what it's about. You know what I'm saying? But that's what they do with all of our stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. And then not to mention, and I know I had a conversation the other day about this, not to mention they're profiting off of it.
Right.
Once Juneteenth comes, they'll take the colors and they'll make the t-shirts and they'll make the merchandise and they'll sell it at the same, you know what I mean, with the same, they have a different reach. They say they have a company with different reach. They have access to resources. They have access to, you know what I mean? So they'll take something and, like I said, appropriate it so that they can sell it and make money off of it.
We do have a unique culture that's tied to this land. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's something that just makes us unique from other people in the world. Like, you know what I'm saying? Regardless of the circumstances of which it took place, our family, our people built this country. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. And we still getting it, and they still moving. We still the dominant spending class.
Right.
We're spending the most money.
We the labor force.
Yeah, right.
And that's how it was designed, for us to be the permanent labor force and not be able to reap the fruits of our labor. You know what I'm saying? And so people got to respect that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I respect black people globally, and everybody has their unique history and culture. You know what I'm saying? And so when it's Haitian Flag Day, stop by say.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying?
When I got a lot of respect for my Haitian brothers.
West Indian Day Parade, you know what I'm saying?
You know we out there.
Yeah, I'm out there. You know what I'm saying? Right. Jerk chicken, all that. You know what I'm saying? I'm with all that. My wife is Jamaican, by the way. My wife's family comes from Jamaica. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
And so, but the thing is, a lot of times when we start talking about our unique culture here, it gets a lot of pushback. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people start feeling a type of way, like, you guys don't have no culture. You know what I'm saying? And we've been trying to get a lot of that stuff straightened. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah. Actually, we are the culture.
We are the culture.
We are the most influential culture. You know what I'm saying? And we're a minority here. You know what I'm saying? A lot of places where our brothers and sisters from the diaspora come from, they're the majority in their homelands. You know what I'm saying? But we're the minority here. They say we only 12, 13% of the population here.
I don't really believe that too much. You know
that's why I said they say.
Yeah, they say. They've been counting them on for a long time. You know what I mean? But I actually definitely wanted to jump onto that, like the difference of our culture. You know what I'm saying? Because one of the core beliefs I have is, you know, I'm not just speaking to, you know, people who refer to themselves as black. I'm speaking to the specific Black American experience. Right. And I feel like that specific Black American experience, it is different from any other people on the face of earth.
Right.
And so we need to have that type of understanding, like, yo, you know what? We are different, and we should use that to create some solidarity around it. Like, yo, we got a unique experience, and you know what? To be honest with you, everybody wants to be us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants to be like us. You know what I mean? From our dominance in sports and athletics, our
hip hop,
the swag, how we move. You know what I mean? We have penetrated this. We created. I didn't even
our dialect, the way we speak.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's our essence. It's something that is unique about us based on the ma'afa that we went through, because that's an experience that nobody else on the planet had. We have been made into a new people because we are an amalgamation of different groups. Right. You know, some people came through the transatlantic slave trade. Some people were already here, indigenous to this land. You know what I'm saying? Some people came over as explorers before Columbus and all of that. You know what I'm saying? And so we got mixed in. And then, you know, we got admixture with Europeans from the rape and all that stuff that took place on the plantations. And so after 400 years, that has manifested a new people on the planet.
Entire different, right?
You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, you're right.
And it's something, I don't know what it is, but it's something special about us.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I believe this to be a fact for black people. We are a spiritual people.
Right.
You know what I mean? We have a intuition, something that's inside of us that I feel like they're trying to bury. They don't want us to realize, but we know based off of the energy we have. You know what I'm saying? We know based off of how we interact with each other. There is a rhythm and a flow to how we move, and I believe it's because we are connected to something. And I'll say this, right? And when it comes to, black people came from all over, but you gotta think, Africa has never been one united place.
Right.
It's never been one united place. Even right now, there's 55 different countries. Before,
a zillion tribes.
There were thousands of languages. It's all good. It's family business.
He gonna get you right. What was that, sir?
54.
Oh, it's 54. 54 countries. That's my fault. That's what's up. That's dope. That's dope. Go ahead and correct me, word. But yeah.
Correcting a grown man.
All right, chill, man.
No, I don't discriminate. You know what I'm saying? I learn from the youth. I learn from the elders. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta be a student. But that right there. Even then, there was 1,000 languages, 1,000 villages, 1,000 different traditions, 1,000 different things. And when they got filtered, there's a lot of different background stories about where the slaves came from, who was the first one to sell them to Europeans and things like that. But what I will say is, once we came over here, once we represented something. We represented the heart of Africa, and that special thing that we talk about that we have, I believe it's because we come from the motherland. But so I don't want to say. Do you know about or do you believe in the theory of Pangea, where all the continents were
Pangea, yeah.
So all the continents at one point were one,
right?
And life came out of the center, and what the center happened to be was Africa,
right?
You know what I mean? So we being the original man, we represent something that transcends America, Africa, Asia, Europe, and that special thing that we have is what they're after. You know what I mean? Making us forget, but then capitalizing on it. You know what I mean? So
I believe, whatever you want to call it, the Most High God. You know what I'm saying? The universal power that exists.
Most High.
I believe that she know exactly what they're doing, and we went through this process, and it manifested a special people in order to correct, so that that Earth can correct itself. You know what I'm saying? We got off course somewhere along the line. We started going against the universal laws and principles along the line, and that manifested the European. They came from us. You know what I'm saying?
Recessive.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? And so that I guess you could say like what's the word I'm looking for, man? Like a parasite. You know what I'm saying? A parasite was manifested onto the earth. A virus manifested onto the earth. And so we had to go through this whole process, this whole sickness. You know what I'm saying? And then it manifested us, and we the medicine. Right. You know what I'm saying? That's what we
like that. I like that. One of the core beliefs is that the universe is in a state of balancing itself out. It is always going to balance itself out. It's always going to create an equilibrium. And our experience, although tragic, like you said, it's part of a manifestation. And so we would have had to gone through those things. And I've had this conversation. It's like we had to go through. So we have there's right brain thinking and left brain thinking. You know what I mean? But when you basically, our experience here is a right brain experience within the left brain society. And so our ability to adapt to it makes us now ability to represent both right and left. And that the combination of the two is going to bring about a new experience. You know what I mean? And something along the lines of, and I don't like to go to movies like this, but when you start talking about Wakanda, right? And I'm not talking about the movie itself, but the idea of a country that was so technologically advanced, there was no need for suffering. There was no need for poverty. There was no need for it. I feel like we have the ability, especially through our experience, because we know what the bottom feel like. Right. Our ability to now take the experiences from that, take the knowledge and know-how of learning, this industrious nation, and then bringing it to another level where it does represent a balance, where we are functional and we do use technology and we do work, but we do it in a way that's harmony and balance and at peace with the surrounding world. You know what I mean? Surrounding nature.
That's bars right there, man.
No doubt. I appreciate that, brother. But now you definitely, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate the energy, bro, because like you said, you could tell when somebody's on the bottom on a certain frequency. Right. You know what I mean? So I definitely appreciate it, man. Definitely appreciate it. I don't know. We got into a couple different things. You know what I mean? But like I said, we try to keep it conversational. You know what I mean? And family business is about building. So obviously we building here, we building upon these different ideas.
I love the concept of that too, though, the family business thing.
Sure.
And how you said to me behind the scenes, it's about us controlling that narrative.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying? Of not allowing other people to dictate, what our priorities should be.
Right.
You know what I mean? So respect to you for doing this.
I appreciate that, brother. And I know a lot of times we get caught up in American culture and what it requires of us. You know what I mean? And working 10, 12 hours a day, having to have 2 incomes. It disrupts the family structure. It disrupts your relationship with the Most High, I believe, without the right, proper amount of time to be in that. But yeah, it starts there.
Creativity is stifled.
Right. Oh man,
that's intentional. That's intentional. They don't want you to be in your zone where you're able to think and plot and plan and be creative. We the most creative people on the planet.
And be objective. You know what I'm saying? Like, just look at things like, hold on, I don't think it should be like that.
Right.
But no, they want to keep you running on this wheel.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah, definitely intentional. Definitely intentional. But you know what though? The biggest thing for me right now is being able to create alternative opportunities. Because it's one thing to tell them about, this is what they're doing, this is what's going on right now. But until we put ourselves in a position where we can provide opportunities, a lot of people really ain't got much different choices. And you're an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur. So we have that mindset. But there's some people out there that they don't have the ambition, they don't have the discipline to be entrepreneurs.
Right.
But that's all right. It's on us to be able to build the opportunities for our people.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I know sometimes we get into this thing where, everybody should be an entrepreneur. Everybody should be,
Who's gonna work for my company?
Somebody gotta be a worker. You know what I'm saying? Somebody gotta work. But the point is to create a atmosphere where it's balanced, it's fair, it's just, it takes care of the needs, but it's not excessive. You know what I mean? Right now it's like, I remember when we used to talk about 8-hour shifts and 10-hour shifts. Now I got 12-hour shifts. Now you need 2-parent household with 2 incomes. Who's watching the kids?
Right.
Who's raising the kids? Oh, I know who. TV.
Right, exactly.
Media. You know what I mean? So it's like you said, it is on purpose. It's definitely intentional.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
That family structure is the ultimate weapon. You know what I'm saying? Against this. Having strong families, white supremacy can't exist with strong black families. The two can't coexist.
That's what happened during the civil rights. They said the ones who were supporting and leading the civil rights were black families.
Right.
Black families was supporting
everyday people.
Mm-hmm.
Everyday people. You know what I mean?
And we had that solidarity too when they said bus boycott.
Right.
They boycotted.
Right.
You know what I mean? Families boycotted. We was all in it together. So that mindset, definitely got to get back to that. Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I don't know how you're gonna feel about this, but I have thoughts about that too, of why that kind of fell off. Because like you said, we did have a code amongst us where nobody wasn't getting on that bus.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Regardless of what. And now, unfortunately, what happens is we have people that are from different places that don't have our experience.
Right. And
they just grateful to be here. You know what I'm saying? They migrated to this country. They volunteered to come here. As bad as it is, they acknowledge the racism whenever it affects them personally.
Right.
But other than that, they don't want to rock the boat.
Right.
They just happy to be here. You know what I'm saying? And so they don't see the system the same way that we see the system. And so when we say, this Asian nail store owner, he beat up the sister or whatever the case may be, we ain't going back in there. A lot of times we see people like, man, I'm still going in here. Unfortunately, they might look like us, but they got an accent or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They come from somewhere else, and they like, please, I'm going here and get my nails done.
Right.
I think that's where a lot of that solidarity fell off at. You know what I'm saying? We got flooded, and it's not all, obviously it's not all of our brothers and sisters that come over here, but after a while, they created a vetting system where they only allow people who have a certain mindset to come over here. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the revolutionaries from the continent and from the Caribbean and all that, they don't get that green card. They don't get that fast track to come over here.
Right.
That's the last thing they want is them hooking up with us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So the ones that they come over here, they know who they getting.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying?
You made a great point. It's like when we start talking about first generation immigrants, and I had a young lady on the show. She's from Nigeria, and it was a good conversation. But you started to see that they don't have the same context of what's going on in this country.
It's true.
So when they see something like a Black Lives Matter, it's like, oh well, there's so many people that supporting y'all. but y'all don't understand. Y'all know about Rodney King, or you don't know about Bell. You don't understand, like, so I was never hypo for this Black Lives Matter.
Right.
A lot of us wasn't. A lot of us who actually are in the culture, in the community, I'm not hypo for that. They've been saying the same thing for years. Now they put on a show, they put on a couple of commercials, you know.
Corporations backing y'all up and all that.
Now. The same corporation that exploit the community.
Yeah.
Like, but they don't have the context. I say this to people all the time. The reason, one of the big things about Black people, we saw everything America did. You can't lie to us. We've been here for all of it. You know what I mean? You could get fooled because you say, "Oh no, look at the commercial. They support." Like, I remember Tuskegee experiments. I remember, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Exactly.
COINTELPRO. I remember, you know what I'm saying? Like, they killed. Yo, I ain't even gonna hold you. I got a little story for this too, right?
Right.
My man,
The Honorable.
Fred Hampton.
Indeed.
So, when you start seeing the movie, what is the name of the movie?
Judas and
In the Black Messiah.
Yeah, Judas and the Black Messiah.
You saw it, and people went flooded out to go see it in the movies, and you're thinking, oh, this is what, Hollywood. Yo, for a lot of us, that when I saw the movie, like, cause I already knew the story, but when I saw the movie, that drum, it almost dropped a tear. You know what I'm saying? Got emotional because you just turned the death and murder, not just death, murder, assassination of one of our heroes into a movie, and got the nerve to say Black Lives Matter. What if we turned into JFK's murder into a movie? What if we turned, you know what I'm saying, I don't know who they like, you know what I'm saying, but
they ain't got no real heroes. So.
Come on now, like we talking about heroes, we talking about, you know, immoral people. But anyway,
Exactly.
so when they don't have the same context, we've seen the corruption.
Right.
You came over here on the dream, on the pipe dream of the American dream. You came over here like, oh, this is the ATM, we're gonna make money over here. Like, we know all the corruption.
Trust us.
We've been here through all of it. We are it. Our presence here is part of their history. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like, you know, they come in, they look, and because I hear it all the time, like, oh, well, you know, Black people, y'all could did this or y'all could do this, and y'all don't fight for each other. And all of the naysayers coming from people who don't understand the history, because we did have our own cities.
Absolutely.
We did have our own businesses. There's over, and I hope my man could correct me on the numbers, but I know there's over 150 cities in America, Black-owned cities that were burned, flooded. You know what I'm saying?
Highways,
we're not even just talking
airports.
We're not even just talking about Tulsa, because that, you know, they always want to bring up the Black Wall Street. Right, that's a Black. It was over 150 different cities. Matter of fact, we're in Georgia right now. Lake Lanier is sitting on top of a Black-owned city that was flooded.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, when you don't understand that context, you don't understand why I'm looking at them like, nah, I'm good. I'd rather not go over there. I'd rather not be around Europeans. I'd rather not be around that. Or I want to big up my brothers and my master teachers. Why? Because there's a love for them, for their sacrifice. There's a love for Fred Hampton, who put his life on the line at 22. There's a love for a person like Huey P. There's a love for a person like, you know what I'm saying? Look at the scholars you got on the table. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like they don't have the right context of what goes on or what is going on in this country. You know what I mean? And even just to, you know, to have a voice, to have a say. You know what I mean? Let alone come out to a Juneteenth celebration.
Right.
But, you know, let's celebrate with us, you know. I get it, but yeah, man, that's definitely how I feel about that.
Yeah, that's 100, man.
Mm-hmm.
100. Huey P said, you know, basically what you're saying. You know what I mean? Some of what you're saying, I heard him break down the same thing. Like, most other groups don't understand the system with the way that we understand the system.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We the tip of the spear globally for the entire diaspora. We the tip of the spear when it comes to resisting white supremacy. You know what I'm saying? We're basically the only ones as a group who've been resisting non-stop.
You
know what I'm saying?
To say that we don't fight back,
right?
We ain't stopped fighting back.
Right, we never stop.
We when you see us revolt, when you see us, you know, do our own thing and go against the game, that's a part of our fighting for ourselves.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you gotta understand that they see that as a threat. They know that. They use, oh, well, why don't y'all just, every single time we do it, Edgar Hoover was quoted for saying the biggest threat to the nation is the rise of the Black Messiah.
Exactly.
And that was the head of your FBI. That's the head of your, you know, Federal Bureau of Investigation. So you got people that come over here and don't understand,
And he was LGBT, by the way.
Yeah, he was a cross dresser, wasn't he?
Yeah,
I heard that too. But
yeah, I just threw that out there,
cause they weird. No, I got you.
But a lot of people try to compare, like they try to make their so-called struggle comparative to ours. You know what I'm saying? We see that a lot now with the Juneteenth stuff. They got rainbows up. And what's going on? Let me ask you this: in this neighborhood, when I pulled in this neighborhood, I seen a lot of rainbow flags with black fists and all of that stuff. Like, where we at?
You in Atlanta?
Yeah, me
You in
too.
Atlanta first. You know what I'm saying? I can't speak for that. You know what I mean? But I've seen it done, and we've seen it where they try to merge the struggle,
right?
And they try to make the black struggle the LGBT struggle,
exactly.
And
it's disrespectful.
It's so disrespectful because it's not the same thing.
Exactly.
But and this is why it's so important that we have, the books, the platforms, and things like that. Because I'm 34, just turned 34 on Friday. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people growing up, 22, 23, they've never been taught anything about our struggle. So when they throw it on the TV, they back it up. Yeah, let's, what I mean? Let's support, because it's all equality, right? It's all, no, it's not. It's not. What our presence here and our history here dictates something else other than what they're pushing on you as, LGBT, let's all get the right to marry and live and free. That wasn't what we was fighting for.
Exactly.
We was fighting for our lives. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
The liberation of it is different. You know what I mean? So.
And I don't knock anyone's lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? You live how you want to live. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, you got to understand there is no black LGBT community. The LGBT community is a white community. You know what I'm saying? Only thing they do with black gays, lesbians, or whatever the case may be, is they slum with them. But they don't share none of the resources that they get with y'all. You know what I'm saying? There is no, like Atlanta, we got a large black gay community down here, but it's not like San Francisco.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Where they got infrastructure, you know what I'm saying? Skyscrapers and all of that stuff built around their lifestyle. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
There is none of that for black people. You're still black at the end of the day. Your struggle is because you're black. It's not because of your sexuality.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you should be, in alignment with us. You know what I mean? Don't try to separate yourself from the black community because of your lifestyle. You still our brother. You still our sister. But the reason why you go through what you go through is because you're black. It's not because you're gay.
Right. And it's race first mindset. You know what I'm saying? Well, I even, all praises to the Most High. But outside of that, it's race first. You gotta take care of your people. You know what I mean? And one of the biggest things that I think led to it, because you touched on it before, like the breakdown, what was the cause or one of the reasons. One of the things I saw is the feminist movement.
Absolutely.
It was a white woman's movement that they wanted black women to be a part of. And when we started to, find common grounds on that, it separated, it hurt the black family.
Absolutely.
Because what we understand is our family structure and the dependency that we have on each other was different than the dependency that a white man and woman have on each other because of the access to resources.
Right. So
when you start to take away the black woman away from the black man, and then you incentivize the men not being in the home, we have a certain structure and dependency on each other that we wouldn't have been. We're not able to be as strong if we don't have, our mothers and our fathers together. You know what I'm saying? Where I feel like, I'm not in a white family, but, their reliance on each other, it just seems like it's different because of their access to resources and their, what's the word? When they hire white people, they hire their family.
Like,
it's called, starts with a P. I'm slow on the words.
I know today. Exactly what you're talking about, so it ain't coming to me either.
But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like they have nepotism. I said P. Nepotism. But when they start, hiring their own, there's a different structure that's put in place. You know what I mean? Oh, I could go get a job with my uncle. I go get a job with my, For the family, the resources are so much. We needed each other as our greatest resource. We needed each other as our greatest resource. We needed our children to learn, to be brought up in our households. You know what I mean? So, that's another, attack on the black structure on the black family structure that I've seen.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a big one, man.
For sure.
And the thing that sisters need to understand is that black men, black women, we in the same boat. Right. You know what I'm saying? The white feminist women, their issue they was fighting for their fair share of the white supremacist pie.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that was about.
Right.
They like, we need some of the spoils from this too. It wasn't no solidarity with black women or any other woman for that matter. It was just about, okay, these white men is hoarding all the damn resources and using that to control us. Because remember, the white woman was the first ones that white men enslaved and oppressed. Right. You know what I'm saying? They was the first ones.
And when we start talking about domestic violence, and let's not put black people as the face of domestic violence, because up into the 50s, up into the 60s, white women were being beat in their homes. They had to stay. There was a certain pecking order where that's where the whole term breadwinner, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm the breadwinner and she's the stay at home. That's how this whole concept of barefoot and pregnant came from, because y'all were oppressed within your own power structure. Right. You know?
Exactly.
But yeah, that wasn't us. You know what I mean? I love black women. You know, I'm gonna need them. You know? Bro, I do want to get into more of the gifts and everything. I appreciate that, bro. I didn't even know, you didn't even expect this.
Oh, yeah. We had to hook you up.
Oh, no, you already know. And I don't know if you did know, but family business.
That was the last size that we had. It's a medium.
We gonna make it work, bro. This is a tough shirt. You know what I mean? I might, honestly, it is a little small on me, you know what I'm saying? I do push-ups and everything like that. But, nah, honestly, this might be something I frame, bro. This is dope. Who did y'all artwork?
Sure. Yo, and the brother's name is similar to yours. His name is Poetic something or something poetic. I forgot the brother's name that hooked us up, but my man Seth's Fifth had put me on to his graphic designer. I think he's like part of his team. They got like a whole team.
Okay.
But
if you could, you know what I'm saying, I'm trying before by the time they air this, if I could get his name, I want to shout him out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no doubt.
You know, just showing love, you know what I'm saying, paying it forward. This is dope. And this is in honor of the ancestors, for real. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And then we got...
That's the poster right there.
Gotcha.
Poster of the junk right there. And then I think there's some crayons in there for the kids. You know what I mean?
No doubt. So is this something that y'all give out at like shows and stuff like that? Or did you?
Yeah, so we just recently launched, and we were at the Foundation of Black American Expo down in Dallas. This was Memorial Weekend. And so the brother Tariq Nasheed put together the FBA Business Expo. And so we were one of the vendors out there, and that was really the launch for our book series. And so that was the merch package we was giving out down there.
Well, I appreciate it, man. This is dope. It's powerful, man. Cause I for one, I appreciate the ones that came before us, the elders that taught us, that continue to teach. They're the one that's been, putting down the foundation, and we just gotta keep it going. You know what I mean? Bill, I appreciate you for coming through. Sincere Luv Da God. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Appreciate you for having me, man. This is real dope. This is going to be an excellent episode.
Oh, yeah. You could feel the vibe. At a certain point, it wouldn't even feel like an episode no more. It was just, we on the same page.
Right.
That's family business, you know what I'm saying?
Come here, son, real quick, before we get out of here, man.
I don't want to get out of here.
I know you want to say something to the camera while we here, right?
You sure? You got the shirt on? I see the shirt on.
I know you're trying to get some sales. You know what I mean? Somebody might want to buy that shirt.
This is your brand, right? Yeah. All right, so tell the camera about it. Don't be shy. You know what I mean?
How you feel about everything that's been going on so far with the book? It's okay, man.
Nobody's here just us.
It's okay. What's up, man? You got your book out here. You got your merch out here. You're doing your thing, man. A lot of people are proud of you, man.
For sure.
A lot of people are proud of you. I know I am.
No doubt.
That's all right. You want to be shy today? That's cool.
You can be shy. Man. But and honestly, this is an example. You know, this is just an example of what we need to be doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Passing the knowledge, passing the information, passing the resources down to the next one. So eventually, we have a community surrounded around that. My man. But I do appreciate it. You listen, tell them where they can find you. Tell them where they can find the book, the podcast, all of that.
All right, cool. So appreciate you having me again, man. Thank you, man. This was real fly. I'm Sincere Luv Da God. You guys can follow me at Sincere Luv Da God on all social media platforms. Make sure y'all follow my son too. He's at 7 the Super Hayru on Instagram and Facebook at 7 the Super Hayru. He ain't always this shy, but he don't want to put on for us today. It's all good. Also, subscribe to the YouTube channel, man. Just type in my name, Sincere Luv Da God, on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. We got a lot going on the channel. We broadcast all throughout the week. We got different creators that's coming on, doing different things. Shout out to my team, GodCast Enterprises, my sister Kool-Aid, sister Nicey Girl, Ty Weezy, and the Young God 7. You know what I'm saying? I think that's it. Oh, and the music. The Masters Table is available on all streaming platforms. Y'all can check that out on your favorite streaming platform. And if you really want to support us and you want to get the physical copy, you want to get some of the merch and all of that stuff, you go to www.themastersrsvp.com. That's for the music. Themastersrsvp.com. And if you want to order the book for your babies, you got your nieces, nephews, grandbabies, whatever you got out there, you definitely want to get the children's book, 7 the Super Hey Rule, and you can go to GodCastBooks.com and place your order today.
Man, dope, bro. This is you just being an example for us, man. We appreciate you. We appreciate the contribution to the community, bro.
Absolutely.
But this is family business. You already know. Our help, our business, man. Appreciate you coming on.
Yes, sir. Likewise, man.
All right, family. Y'all stay blessed. Peace.